Welcome to the deep dive. We're here to really get under the surface of the big topics shaping our world. Today, I want you to just picture for a second the sheer energy of India's big cities. Bengaluru, Mumbai, Delhi. Think about those huge skyscrapers, the constant buzz, the feeling of ambition that just draws millions in. It's this powerful image of the future, right? Full of promise.
Absolutely. It's a vision that's incredibly compelling, especially for young people seeking opportunity.
But here's the thing we're diving into today. Beneath that glittering surface, there's something else going on, a kind of quiet loneliness. It's gripping a lot of young professionals, the very people building that future. Some are calling it a silent epidemic. So our mission is to unpack this. What is this feeling? Why is it spreading now, especially with all this technology connecting us? And, what does it cost? Not just emotionally, but for the country, too.
It's a critical conversation. We're looking at the hidden side of that urban dream.
Exactly. Maybe you felt it yourself. That feeling of being lost in a crowd, even somewhere really busy. If so, stick with us.
It's such a striking paradox, isn't it? These hubs of opportunity, these places packed with people, somehow also breeding this deep sense of isolation.
Yeah, it forces you to ask, what's the trade-off we're making, especially for young people?
Precisely.
So let's start there, that lure of the city. It's strong. Young folks from smaller towns, villages, they see the promise of better jobs, more money, climbing that ladder.
It's the classic aspiration narrative.
Right, and we see it in stories like Priya's. She's 24, from Bhopal, lands a tech job in Bengaluru. Big move. You can just imagine the initial excitement, can't you? First, proper paycheck, maybe a nice new apartment, the whole vibrant city thing.
Oh, absolutely. That initial phase feels like everything's falling into place, the dream realized. But then for Priya, like so many others, the reality starts to creep in. The shine wears off a bit. Days get eaten up by work, long hours. Her colleagues, they're friendly, sure, but maybe not deep friendships, not the kind you can really lean on.
Transactional almost.
Sometimes, yeah. Or just busy. Everyone's running their own race. So evenings aren't necessarily about connecting. They might be spent scrolling social media, seeing everyone else's highlight reel.
Ah, the comparison trap.
Exactly. And all while maybe feeling a bit homesick, missing that close-knit community back home.
And this isn't just one or two people. We're talking about a massive shift, right?
Huge. India's urban population jumped, 31% between 2001 and 2011? And it's only sped up since. Projections point to maybe 600 million people in cities by 2025. A massive chunk of those are young workers, 20s, early 30s, pouring into places like Hyderabad, Pune, Gurgaon for tech, finance, startups.
So you have this influx of talent, ambition.
Yes, but here's the core paradox.
Yeah.
The very opportunities they come for often demand a lifestyle that, it squeezes out the space for real human connection.
Which leads us to this lifestyle itself, this work and party trap I mentioned. You work incredibly hard. 10, 12-hour days aren't uncommon in some sectors like tech or consulting.
Definitely. The pressure is intense.
And then what little downtime you have, there's this pressure to be seen living it up. Trendy bars, clubs, almost performing success and happiness.
That work hard, play hard mantra. But the play hard part sometimes feels more like an obligation than genuine relaxation or connection.
And social media fuels this, doesn't it? Instagram looks like one long rooftop party or exotic getaway.
It absolutely does. It creates this curated reality, this illusion of constant excitement. And if your own life doesn't match up, which, let's be honest, whose really does?
It makes you feel like you're missing out or failing somehow.
Exactly. It amplifies that gnawing feeling underneath. It's like you're surrounded by the idea of connection, but the reality feels hollow.
We heard from Rohan, right? 27, marketing guy in Mumbai. His words were quite striking.
Yeah, he said something like, I've got 500 contacts on my phone, but not one person I can call at 2 a.m. when I'm feeling really low.
Wow, that just cuts right through, doesn't it? The quantity versus quality.
It perfectly captures the superficiality that can creep in. And look, the numbers back this feeling up. A recent survey, 2024, I think, found 62% of young urban professionals, 18 to 30, felt lonely at least once a week, even those with active social lives.
62%. That's
Yeah.
staggering. So even being busy and social doesn't necessarily protect you from it.
Not at all. Because it often comes down to the depth of connection. And the modern workplace, with its focus on productivity competition, it can sometimes push aside that fundamental human need for real support for community.
It seems like technology should be the answer, right? Especially in India with this massive digital revolution. I mean, the numbers are incredible. Over 970 million internet connections, 5G reaching everywhere. That should mean more connection.
It's the great irony, isn't it? Technology is this double-edged sword. It connects us in ways we couldn't have imagined,
Yeah.
but it also creates these new kinds of barriers.
How's-
We'll think about social media again, Instagram, WhatsApp, even LinkedIn. Yes, they connect, but they encourage these polished, curated versions of ourselves. You're scrolling through endless feeds of filtered photos, career highlights. It's easy to feel like your own normal, sometimes messy life just doesn't compare.
Leading to inadequacy instead of connection.
Precisely. And studies are showing a correlation.
Yeah.
More time spent on social media can actually link to higher feelings of loneliness among young urban people.
So connected to everyone, but close to no one.
That's the paradox in a nutshell. It's a very 21st century kind of isolation.
And what about things like dating apps? Tinder, Bumble, they're huge in cities. Are they helping bridge the gap or?
The dating app dilemma.
Ah.
It's complicated. We spoke to RT29, graphic designer in Delhi. Her perspective was quite insightful, if a little bleak. She described it as feeling like shopping for people.
Shopping for people. Oof.
Yeah. Lots of swiping, maybe quick chats, a coffee date here and there. But often, it doesn't seem to lead to those deeper, lasting bonds. The sheer volume of choice, the ease of moving on, it can almost make the effort required for a real relationship feel, well, like too much work. You get stuck in superficial encounters.
Convenience over connection again. That's a powerful theme emerging here.
It is. And it ties into these broader cultural shifts happening too.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Because traditionally, Indian society is very collectivist, right? Strong family ties, community support.
Exactly. Historically, there was this built-in safety net. Extended families, close-knit neighborhoods. You belonged somewhere.
But urbanization, globalization, that's changing things rapidly. Young professionals often move far away from home.
And the family structure itself is changing in cities. The nuclear family is much more common.
Do we have numbers on that?
We do. A 2024 report highlighted that something like 45% of urban households are nuclear now. Compare that to only about 20% in rural areas.
That's a massive difference. Fewer built-in support systems right there.
Absolutely. Less daily interaction with extended family, fewer relatives nearby to just drop in on or talk to. And layered on top of that is the stigma around mental health, around admitting you're struggling.
Still quite strong.
It's getting better, definitely. There's more awareness. But for many, especially maybe telling older family members, there's still a hesitation, fear of worrying them, or maybe feeling like it's a sign of weakness to admit you're lonely.
Like Vikram's story, the software engineer in Hyderabad.
Yes, exactly. He tells his parents everything's fine, doesn't want to cause them stress. But privately, he admits he just misses having someone to really talk to about the day-to-day pressures.
And that reluctance to open up, it just makes things worse, presumably.
It really does. It creates this spiral. Loneliness festers, and it can easily tip into anxiety or depression if it's not addressed. That same survey found 38% of those young professionals feeling lonely also reported symptoms of mild to moderate depression.
Wow, 38%. That's a direct link. It really underscores the seriousness of this.
It's not just feeling a bit down. It has real mental health implications.
Okay, so let's shift focus slightly to the workplace itself, because that's where people spend most of their waking hours. It should be a place for connection, for camaraderie, right? But it often feels like the opposite.
Another paradox. The potential is there. You're surrounded by peers. But the reality of the corporate grind? Long hours, tight deadlines, that relentless pace.
It leaves little room for genuine bonding.
Often, yes. Interactions become task-focused. Efficient, but not necessarily connective.
And then came remote work. Post-COVID, hybrid models are everywhere, especially in tech. What impact has that had? I think you mentioned Masscom figures suggesting 60% of tech workers are partly remote.
Yes, and that's had a significant impact.
Yeah.
Those small, spontaneous interactions, the chat by the water cooler, grabbing a quick lunch together, they seem minor, but they're often where friendships actually start.
The weak ties that can become strong ones.
Exactly. Remote work strips a lot of that away. Interactions become scheduled, formalized, less organic connection.
Are companies doing anything about this? Are they recognizing it?
Some are, yes.
Okay.
You see big companies like Infosys, TCS, introducing wellness programs, team building days, things like that, which is positive. It shows awareness.
But I sense a but coming.
Well, yeah. Sometimes these efforts can feel a bit superficial. like a mandatory Fun Friday Zoom call that doesn't really address the underlying pressures or lack of deep connection.
Ticking a box rather than changing the culture.
Precisely. What's needed is more fundamental, a shift towards genuinely prioritizing well-being, thinking about flexible hours that give people their lives back, mental health days being normal, not stigmatized, creating actual spaces, physical or virtual, for unstructured interaction. Some startups in Hyderabad are even trying things like connection hours, dedicated time for non-work chat.
Interesting. So embedding connection into the structure, not just adding it on.
That's the idea, making it integral, not an afterthought driven by HR metrics.
And this isn't just about feelings, is it? There's a hard economic cost to all this loneliness.
Oh, absolutely. It's not just an emotional burden. A lonely workforce is, frankly, less productive. People are more likely to burn out, their engagement drops, and they're more likely to leave their jobs. Turnover is expensive.
Do we know how expensive?
There was an estimate, again, I think from 2024, suggesting that mental health issues, with loneliness being a big factor, cost Indian businesses something like 1.2 lakh crore a year.
1.2 lakh crore. That's huge in lost productivity, turnover.
It's a massive figure. It shows that employee well-being isn't just a nice to have, it directly impacts the bottom line.
And then there's the pressure on the individuals themselves, the sheer cost of living in these cities.
A huge factor. Rents in tech hubs like parts of Bengaluru or Mumbai are incredibly high. A basic one-bedroom could easily be 20, 30,000 rupees a month.
Eating up a massive slice of a young professional's salary.
Exactly. So even if they wanted to, say, join a club, take a class, travel, go out more, the financial pressure can be immense. It forces difficult choices. We heard from Sneha, 25, a content writer in Mumbai. She talked about basically sacrificing any social life or hobbies just to save for rent and loan payments, EMIs.
So the financial strain directly fuels the isolation.
It's a vicious cycle. You work hard to afford the city life, but the cost prevents you from actually enjoying the social aspects of it, which in turn makes you feel more isolated.
It paints a pretty challenging picture, but importantly, it's not hopeless. There are ways forward, right? We need to build bridges.
Definitely. And change can start at the individual level. Small steps matter.
Like what? What can people actually do?
Well, being intentional about seeking connection. Joining local clubs, sports, books, whatever your interest is. Volunteering is a great way to meet people outside your work bubble. We're also seeing interesting things like co-living spaces popping up, designed specifically to foster community. And simpler things like local fitness groups or hobby meetups in cities like Delhi, Pune.
Yeah.
Getting out there, basically finding your tribe, even if it takes effort.
Yes. It requires conscious effort, moving beyond the digital default. And workplaces, as we discussed, have a huge role, moving beyond token gestures.
So real mental health support, flexible schedules.
Mentorship programs that are about more than just career progression, maybe those connection hours. It's about creating a culture where people feel seen and valued as whole humans, not just resources.
And beyond the individual and the workplace. What about society as a whole?
Continuing to normalize conversations about mental health is key. Government initiatives like Manadarpan offering counseling are good steps. But we also need more accessible community centers, truly affordable therapy options, and even thinking about how we design public spaces, parks, libraries to encourage interaction, not just solitary existence.
Designing connection into the urban fabric itself.
Exactly. And finally, technology. It's part of the problem, but it can be part of the solution too.
By using it intentionally. There are apps now specifically for connecting people around shared interests. Hiking, cooking, board games. Platforms like Meetup, even local WhatsApp groups for neighborhoods or hobbies. The key is using these tools not as a replacement for real-world interaction, but as a bridge to it. Use the app to find the hiking group, then actually go hiking.
Right. Leverage tech to facilitate, not isolate.
That's the crucial distinction.
So wrapping this up, it's clear this loneliness isn't just a personal issue. It's a symptom of a society undergoing huge, rapid change. There's a human cost to all this incredible economic progress.
There is. And the young people driving so much of that progress, they deserve more than just a paycheck at the end of the month. They deserve community, belonging.
Absolutely. And addressing this loneliness isn't just about making individuals happier, though that's vital. It's about ensuring India's future, its urban dream, is sustainable and human-centric.
We can build cities and workplaces where connection thrives. It takes conscious effort from all sides, individuals, companies, policymakers. But it's definitely possible to combat this loneliness bug.
It leaves us with a final thought, doesn't it? In this world pushing us towards individual achievement, towards digital everything,
Hmm.
what does it actually mean to be together anymore?
Mm.
And maybe more importantly, how do we actively build societies, build lives where belonging isn't some kind of optional extra, but just a given, something fundamental?
A question worth pondering long after this conversation ends.